So, a very good evening to all of you. My name is Fiza Fatma, and I welcome you all today for our intern coaching webinar. A bit of housekeeping before we actually begin. Um, if at any point of time you face any technical issues or have any technical difficulties, I would advise you to exit and rejoin the meeting. We love an interactive webinar, so please use the chat box in case of any comments or questions. Today's webinar is, of course, focused on intern coaching and how it can boost your virtual internship. So once again, thank you all for joining on a Friday evening, as I know all of us are getting ready to enjoy the weekend. So before I actually begin, let me start off with telling you all a bit about Kaplan, if in case you do not know it already. So moving to the next slide, I would say Kaplan Professional Middle East is a part of Kaplan Incorporation, which is a leading provider in training. I take a bit of excitement when I say I'm a part of Kaplan, especially because we know that we've been training professional qualification students since over 80 years. And I take a lot of pride in terms of telling my colleagues that we are not only based in one part of the world, but across the entire globe. Moreover, we have trained more than 1 million delegates. Now, in terms of what we do as a professional qualification training provider, we provide training for qualifications like ACCA, CMA, CFA, and also qualifications, certified diplomas like IFRS, VAT, and CIT. Now, we also have something within our program and training, which is basically called as the virtual internship program. Now, the virtual internship program is basically a guaranteed internship program as you book on with us for any course or any of these professional qualification. Now, in terms of who I am, my name is Fiza Fatma, and I'm the manager of employability programs at Kaplan Professional Middle East. For those of you who may know me, I look after our advanced designations vertical. Our advanced designations vertical is basically focused on this qualification like ACCA, CMA, CFA, CFM, ICW, so on and so forth. I look after our employability programs and also for the fact that how as Kaplan, we can ensure that you're not only getting the academic support, but also a support in your professional journey as a whole. So it's not only about you passing these exams, but it's also about you being more employable. So that's my part mainly within our exam prep vertical. Now I have with me today Mirtha from Virtual Internship. She is the head of employability at Virtual Internship, and I'm more than happy to introduce her to our attendees. Um, Moreover, she is also an international award winner and also looks at in terms of education, employability, and international development. So welcome on board, Mirtha.
Thank you, Fisa, for your introduction, and thank you for your invitation. I'm very happy to be here speaking about something I really love, which is coaching. I'm all into teaching and learning, and because I love learning, I love coaching. And the idea of today's webinar is to tell you all about coaching, but I guess you want to present Sadia first, right?
Yeah. So in terms of internship coaching, and this is something which is actually a feature of our virtual internship program. So as I've been constantly telling to all the students around there, virtual internship program is just not an internship program. It's well beyond that. It's not only about you working on some assignments, projects, or mainly whatever is written on a job description. It's well more than you working on something. It's just your journey of developing skills and putting experience on your CV. So that's why we thought that it's also good to hear from a student who has gone through the same process. and we will be having with us today our virtual internship program alumna and our ACCS student at Kaplan Professional Middle East, Sadia, joining us today. Moreover, from virtual internship, we have Heather on the call. If in case you have any issues or any concerns regarding virtual internship applications, so on and so forth, we would be more than happy to answer that. So from here, I will hand it over to Mirza as she will be leading the webinar from here. So what do you, Mirza?
Excellent, thank you. Exactly, as you mentioned, we offer virtual internship programs that are much more than the internship itself, right? Internship, our internship program is really made for you to maximize your employability opportunities. And that's why we also have, as part of our virtual internship, coaching calls in there. So let's explore a little bit why you should take your coaching call and why this is a super useful tool that we make available for you during your internship. So what is coaching? Let's begin with this basic question, because probably we have all listened about coaching, but do we know what it is? So when we think about coaching, what we're thinking about is really a session where a powerful conversation happens, right? We have a coach who is someone who is trained to conduct a powerful conversation with someone, right? In this case, with you, with our interns. And basically, we can consult a coach for many different reasons. Usually when we have a project we want to undertake or a goal we want to achieve, right? This may be a professional goal, and in this case, you may consult a career coach, or this may be a a personal situation. And in that case, you may consult a life coach, right? Basically, coaching can revolve around your needs, because with a coach, you're going to discuss something that is important to you, something that you want to improve, something that you want to do. And these coaching is a discipline that you can find all over the world. It depends on where you are. A coaching call can cost between 50 US, 200 US. It depends really on where you are. But as part of your internship program, you will have 2 coaching calls included, right? With someone who will be there for you during 30 minutes and who will dedicate their time entirely to you. So, okay, we have an idea now what coaching is, but when we talk about internship coaching, what does that really mean, right? And when we think about internship coaching, what we think about is really an inclusion. This is a support that we offer you to make sure that you are accompanied throughout your internship. And what it makes this coaching special is that we take all the elements of coaching, plus we have all the elements that are relevant to your internship. And in this case, that means that you will have your coach who is going to not only ask you the powerful questions so you can reflect on different topics, but he will also give you recommendations and guidance on career development and professional growth, right? And it is that you can have a moment to reflect on your internship experience, that you can pause and say, okay, where am I with my career development? Where does this internship fit into my bigger career plan? What are some ideas I have of what I want to do next thanks to this internship? What are the next steps I want to take? All of these we explore it in our coaching call. And the idea is that you leave the call feeling, okay, I have my next steps clear. This is where I want to go. This is where I want to keep on exploring and learning. And also the idea is that you feel empowered, right? And you feel motivated to say, yes, I'll go for it. And why is coaching in our program, right? Because as Fisa said, this is not only an internship experience, which is already a lot, but we offer you an encompassing experience, right? Throughout our program, you will also have access to different employability webinars that will give you some ideas of concrete employability topics, but especially the idea with coaching and the whole internship is to contribute towards making you career ready. And what does that mean, right? What is career readiness? When we think about career readiness, we think about core competencies and skills that prepare you to be successful at the workplace and in your lifelong career management, right? Career development takes time and really takes you making sure you are taking ownership of your own career path. And what we nowadays know is that when we think about what makes someone really successful and prepared for the workplace, this revolves about some basic key competencies and skills, right? We work with this framework, which is the framework of NACE, the National Association of Colleges and Employers of the United States, and they have identified 8 key competencies that all people who want to work should have in order to maximize their chances to have a successful career, right? These are competencies that employers have identified, and they said, okay, when I think of someone who I want to be working with, collaborating with, I want them to have at least I want them to be very confident in these 8 competencies. And these are career and self-development, communication, critical thinking, equity and inclusion, leadership, professionalism, teamwork, and technology. So what does this mean actually? It means more and more we know that employers are hiring by skills, right? Of course, it is super important to learn, to gain knowledge, to go to university. But at the end of the day, you need to be able to translate this knowledge into skills, into what you can do, right? And these basic, we say basic not because they are easy, but because they're really the base. These basic skills will allow you to build your career, right? It is very difficult for you to start a career if you struggle to communicate with your supervisor, with your colleagues, right? If you struggle working with other people, it's going to be challenging. So these skills are really essential for your professional development, and our internship program really goes around you being aware of what skills you have, what skills you need to continue developing, and of course, take the opportunity to develop these skills throughout your internship. So really, coaching is there to make sure you do this process in a very smooth way, right? And so now that we know what coaching is, let's clarify what is not. Coaching is not a test. This is not a moment where someone will interrogate you and ask like really difficult questions. No. This is a moment for you to relax, to really share, to take the time to reflect. And also, this is not therapy. So don't worry, this is not about, we're not going to go into mental health issues. This is really about the moment for you to speak with someone who is trained and who can give you advice. And it is not someone telling you what to do. No, this is more about co-creating what you want to happen with this person, with your coach. So the coach will be there to give you broad perspectives and guidance on career development. It is not about specific advice on an industry, but rather having the base for you to say, I am understanding how my career should be planned and have hints to do so. So we know now what coaching is, what intercoach is, what it is not. Let's discover a little bit what the calls are about. Well, we work remotely, so unfortunately we cannot have cookies, but if we could have cookies and coffee. The idea is to have a relaxed conversation. So that's the main point, for you to have a space where you can talk in confidence with someone. And as we mentioned, we have 2 coaching calls. And the first one is going to be about really understanding where you are in your internship experience path. right? It's okay. How is your internship going? Do we need to address any issues? It is super normal that in an internship we may feel a bit lost. Well, communication is always a skill that takes time to develop, and until we may feel comfortable speaking to our supervisor, asking for feedback, that may take time. And the coaching call is the moment to say, hey, I'm struggling with this. So your coach will say, okay, let's think strategies in which you can that you can apply to improve your communication with your supervisor. So at this point, we're going to see how your internship is going, what skills you are developing throughout, right? Okay, you can say, yeah, I've been working on X, Y, Z, and now I feel more confident, but I still need to keep on working on A, B, C. So you're gonna discuss that with your coach and say, maybe I think that I want to keep on exploring this. And with your coach, you're going to create a plan with actionable steps, concrete things that you can take to make sure that by the end of your internship, you say, okay, I did the most out of this experience, right? And sometimes your coach may send you resources to keep on exploring and deepening the topics you discussed during your call. And so when we go to the second call, what is going to happen there is, well, we're going to review how your internship went, right? What happened with the goals you had, what happened with the skills you wanted to develop, how did that go? And we're going to reflect on how this internship fits into your graded career plan, right? Because sometimes what we don't really have is the reflection of why what we do is valuable, right? We all have already set lots of skills, right? But the problem is that sometimes we cannot recognize that, right? And we have accumulated different experiences, we have participated in different projects, but we don't really are conscious about it. We're not conscious about it, and we say like, I'm not sure. And the last call is the opportunity to reflect on this. Okay, what have you learned? What skills have you developed? And how can you really communicate this for future job interviews, for example? Because at a job interview, someone will ask you, okay, tell me what you bring to the table, right? Like, what is your value? What do you have to offer? And when you have had your coaching calls and you have reflected about it, and you said, yeah, I know you can, your chances of answering this question in a good way are much, much, much bigger. And therefore your chances of being chosen are much bigger, because you can say, you know, these are my skills and this is experience I have, and I can prove it because I have done this internship, I have participated in these projects, and I have proof that I can put in practice these skills, right? So really the second call is about you having awareness, developing this storytelling element, and really thinking about, okay, what are my next steps? What are some goals I want to achieve? What else I need to keep on working on? What are the things that I already that I already master, right? So the second call is really about making sure you end your internship on a high note. And who are our coaches? Who are you going to be having these conversations with? So all our coaches are trained professionals, trained coaches who have done their coaching certification, who have worked with us for many years, and they have all a trained, approved record of supporting students in different stages. Some of our coaches are teachers. We have career counselors. We have people who work at university at career development, and they all are super passionate about career development, professional growth, and are super patient and super dedicated to being with you and really being of serve for whatever you need for the call. And so by now we know, okay, what is coaching for, why we have it in our program. And the key thing is like, why should you take your coaching call? Why you should take advantage of the fact that you have this great inclusion in the program, right? And before we go to listen to Sadia, who is here today to tell us her experience, I want to share some other experiences from other alumni. so you understand also how it was for other people. So for instance, we can see that someone said, the coaching calls helped me reflect upon myself throughout my internship and focus on my growth. So here we have really the reflection element. As I said, the coaching call is a moment for you to reflect, to pause, to really be present with the coach and really focus on you and your growth, right? Other participants said, by having someone to talk to, I was able to sort through my thoughts a lot easier, which allowed me to take a step back and look at what parts of my internship were working and what parts I could work on. So here we have the two elements of clarity and improvement, right? The opportunity to sit with someone and say, okay, this is working, this is not, this is where I can improve. And as we know, having clarity on the gap between where I am and where I want to be is super important to really define a path and start taking action, right? And that you can find out thanks to your coaching call. Someone else said, the biggest takeaway from my coaching calls was the realization and understanding of the strengths and skills I possess. So here we have also this awareness, right? Okay, what do you have to offer? What am I good at? And a coaching call can really help you here. You can say, oh, I hadn't realized that's true. I have done this project, and here there was always the critical thinking element involved. So I can say that my critical thinking skills are really solid. And we can find this out thanks to the coaching call. Also, someone said, I learned that your job is what you make it and that your attitude is more important. Be mindful of what you want out of this experience. Same thing, right? If you're doing an internship program, how can you do the most out of that? We can find this out in our coaching calls. Also, someone said, I was able to recognize what actionable steps I would need to take to achieve my goals and express my future plans and interests to someone who would give me feedback and suggestions. So once again, here we have the element of creating a plan and also having the opportunity to discuss with someone who knows about it and who has lots of experience. Someone else said, I learned how to best frame this internship experience in future interviews. That's what we mentioned about the storytelling element. The more you are able to express and clarify and really convey what you can do, what you know, what you have to offer, how this internship experience was useful for you, the more chances you have, right, to find a job, to be chosen for the job. And finally, my biggest takeaway is that this internship was a big stepping stone to prepare me for future endeavors I may take on. So basically, right, thanks to the coaching call, this person has been able to say, I think I get now how important this internship was for me and how this has prepared me for the next step. So these are some ideas of some testimonials of our previous participants, but we have a participant here, right? Sadia, are you there? Do you want to share how was it for you, your internship experience and particularly your coaching call?
Hi, Mishta. Hi, everyone. Hope all of you are doing well. Thank you for having me for this informative webinar on coaching. I'll be glad to speak about my experience because it has been a very great one. I must say that VI offers great coaching and they have experienced professional coach who are assigned for each intern during this program. And I got an internship from a company based in Canada where I worked as a marketing intern for a month. And this company works in the construction industry, and I was interning with them uh, remotely. So this was a unique experience for me since this was my first time working with a professional entity. And as a resident in Oman, it was essential for me to understand the Canadian culture and the market position of the entity I was interning for to give my best performance. Since I enrolled in VI, I received guidance from an experienced mentor and a professional coach, which was very essential for me. Some examples of how my coach helped me was to identify the methods of adapting and learning the Canadian culture for ease in my communication with them and to encourage a feeling of inclusiveness with my supervisor. Also, she asked me to do some market research on the construction industry in Canada so that I can add value to my work. And during my internship, I was introduced to a customer relationship management system, a CRM system, and this was my first time uh, using a software which is a little technical. So since my internship completely relied on my CRM skills, my coach assisted me by suggesting some resources from where I can learn the basic skills for using CRM. And this really added my performance, like it improved my performance a lot, and my supervisor was very happy with my work. And at the same time, she helped me feel comfortable with remote working during our coach calls, and she supported me in identifying my strengths and weaknesses so that I can develop my skills for my future employability. Further, based on a final coach call, she prepared a career plan for me. And this plan has been designed according to my career preference, which focuses on both my short-term and long-term goals. That is 1 year to 5 years of career planning for me. And as a new graduate, this support and plan which has been designed specifically based on my preference, is very beneficial and important for me as this has been prepared by an experienced and professional coach. And this has assisted me multiple times when I was planning my career after my internship with VI. And I'm pretty sure that this plan has also assisted multiple interns who have worked with VI before. And this plan is helping me to stay on track and work harder on achieving all of my goals in the long term as well. So, in short, coaching with VI was my best experience. And these relaxed and open conversations helped me to align my goals to achieve success in my career. And I'm grateful to Kaplan and VI for providing me with this internship and coaching. And I highly encourage everyone to give it a shot.
Thank you, Sadia. That was amazing. So exactly, that what happens in a coaching call, in two coaching calls. You can see how beneficial this can be in many levels. And like Sadia, we have seen other people having also great experience with coaching. And that's the idea, right? The idea is that coaching is an inclusion, is an element, is part of your path, and is there in order to boost your internship experience. Because when we don't really do the process of understanding some parts of the things we do, like an internship program, we may be falling a little bit short, because you can do an internship without the opportunity to reflect. Sometimes we may be losing the opportunity to really maximizing this, right? And sometimes we, as I mentioned before, we have everything to succeed, but we are not aware, but we don't know how to put the pieces together. So coaching is really there for you to really maximize your internship experience, to maximize your awareness, and to really make you understand that career development is really about you taking ownership of your own career development. It's up to you. No one will do it for you. So you better sit and reflect, and what better to do that with someone who can guide you through the process. So you feel accompanied, and you have someone who knows, who can help you there. So thank you, Sadia, for your experience. And so basically coaching is about you, right? You are the main character of your own story. And the more able you are to tell this story, thanks to having all these elements, thanks to having reflected, thanks to having clarity on what you can do, on what your skills are, and also what your areas of improvement are, because no one expects you to know everything. That's not, it doesn't work like that, right? We are all learning all the time. We are learning new skills. We are upskilling, reskilling. It's the world we live in. So in order for you to be able to recognize that and say, yes, this is who I am, this is what I have to offer, coaching is a great tool. And it is all about you in order to be able to, for you to share your story. And therefore, I really recommend that you take your coaching calls. And now you know why this is important. So before I take questions from the audience, I do also want to mention that as part of your internship experience, we have another inclusion, right? In order to keep on supporting you in your skill development, we have exclusive live webinar where different speakers come and share very interesting insights on industries, on different employability topics. And we have our YouTube channel where you can explore our previous sessions. When you are part of our program, you get to ask questions and have the input of our professional. So this is really useful. Meanwhile, you can take advantage of this. Go to our YouTube channel, which is the Global Employability Expert Series. You type that in YouTube and you will find different webinars on these topics. And one I recommend a lot is the one, Take Ownership of Your Own Career Path, that will allow you to start this reflection. Some things that we discuss about in our coaching sessions is around this, right? So if you go to this webinar, I will definitely guarantee you that you will have already some really interesting content and ideas for you to reflect on your career. So I would love to hear your questions. And yes.
Yes, very interesting one, Mirta, in terms of, understanding coaching and the coaching calls involved in this. It's always great to hear from a student who has already gone through the process in terms of how much value it has added to it, in terms of their virtual internship experience, so on and so forth. So from the audience members, do we have any questions? And in the meantime, we get the questions. In case anyone has any questions or want to know a bit more about what our offering are in terms of our virtual internship program, on the very next slide, we will have our program advisors' contact details. So you can get in touch with Moni. Her email address is there, her phone number is there. If you want to know more about how you can get on board on this program and a bit more about the features, we would be more than happy to get that on board for you in terms of the information, so on and so forth. One interesting thing that I actually saw on this one was the fact that about the skill development. And for me, and what I get from a lot of students over here is that when they're on the initial days of this their career, their experience, they find it really difficult to get an internship that will add value in terms of their skills. So thank you, Mirta, for putting light on the fact that how in the virtual internship, the internship coaching calls really help students to enhance their skills and to boost their virtual internship experience. So if in case we don't have any questions, I think so that pretty much evidences the fact that they're really okay with all what was presented. And in that case, more than happy to be in touch with you guys later after this webinar as well. Our contact details are there. You can get in touch with me directly as well, maybe through LinkedIn, my email address, and we would be more than happy to guide you further. So thank you, Mirta, for joining in, and thank you everyone for joining in. I am really sure that you guys are going to have now a better evening with you relaxing, moving forward for the weekend.
Excellent. Thank you very much for the invitation. And I wish you an excellent weekend.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.